Okay, so I have a confession to make. I want to be a Notion girly. I know how it sounds, but just hear me out. Those aesthetic dashboards that have been showing up in your feed, or at least my feed, they got me, okay? They got me good. And the thing is, I don't even like the whole pastel neutral vibe. Like that's not my jam, but it's the layouts. It's the way that everything has its own little place, right? These cute little dashboards, and I'm like, yeah, I like that. I think I want that for me. But the reality is, I am very stubborn, so I want to build these things myself. So I started using Notion. I get the basics, but I've been totally winging it, Googling things or asking Claude or Gemini for a little bit of help here and there. I want to know this stuff inside and out. I don't want to just be a Notion girly. I want to be a Notion expert. Notion has a bunch of video courses and lessons that you can kind of go through all of their stuff and learn things a little bit more. So I'm going to do it all. Essentials, workflows, advanced, every lesson they've got, I'm going to take it. And I'm going to take you with me if you want. Here's the thing. I don't want to do this just to like learn it for funsies. I've got a plan, and we'll talk about that more later. But this is what I want to do. There's a whole story about how I even got here. It started with the fact that I was having my first ever surgery and crashing out pretty hard about what do I even need to do. So if you're curious about that, or you just want to learn Notion alongside somebody, follow along with me. I'm going to document the whole thing. It could get weird. A few months ago, I had my first ever surgery and I was completely freaking out. I had 47 tabs open, post-it notes everywhere, completely overwhelmed, and I couldn't find the one thing that I was looking for that I thought was going to help me be the most prepared for this surgery. First hospital stay, first surgery ever, and I was just feeling so unprepared for everything. Not just the procedure itself, but anything from am I asking the right questions to my doctor, to what do I need to pack in my hospital bag, or what do I need to make sure I have on hand like post-recovery immediately. I didn't know what to do. So I did what any elder millennial would do if they didn't know something, and I went to YouTube and TikTok, and boy did the ladies show up. There were so many tips about what to pack, what questions to ask, what to put in my hospital bag, all of it. And then one night I'm sitting there with like 47 tabs open, heating pad reviews, hospital bag checklists, someone's recovery timeline from 2019, post-it notes everywhere, and I'm trying to find that one thing I saved 3 days ago that I just cannot seem to place. That's when I realized I need an actual system for this. So those cute little dashboards in my feed over these last few months, they brought me back to Notion. I tried Notion years ago and I absolutely hated it. I knew how to use it technically, I understood the basics, but I just wasn't into it. The layouts I was seeing, the examples of templates that other people had, I just felt so uninspired and it was very blah. Like this was supposed to be some really cool, amazing thing. And the more that I looked at it, I was like, am I actually going to use this tool? Because it's not really giving me any kind of magical feelings here. And so I said, no, it's just not going to work for me. And I bounced off that so hard, but those Notion girlies, they know what's up. Then when I needed to organize all of my surgery stuff, I kept seeing these dashboards on TikTok and it was hard for me to ignore. It's not even about the aesthetic. It's about the layouts, the clarity, the way that everything had its own little place. And I was like, oh, this is the Notion I wish I would have been aware of back when I tried it a few years back. So I jumped back in. I built out my little hysterectomy tracker with all my symptoms, medications, upcoming appointments, all this advice that I was getting on TikTok. I had a place for everything and it made me feel so much better and way less out of control during one of the most vulnerable times of my life. When my sister came to help me with my surgery, she asked me to share it with her so that not only I could keep track of things, but she could also monitor how I was doing as well. It's at that point that I realized that maybe this could be helpful not just for me, but for other women going through the same thing. What if I could use Notion to help other women feel a little less overwhelmed? I want to share this Notion tracker that I made, but I've got one problem. I have no idea if it's even built correctly. I built this hysterectomy tracker for myself and it helped me so much through recovery. like really helped. I was even able to share it with my sister so she could help track and monitor things with me. And that's when it hit me. If it's useful enough that my sister and I can both use this, maybe it can help other women that's going through surgery too. But I built it just by plunking around, Googling things, asking AI, just trying things until it worked, which is totally fine for me. But if other people are going to use this, if I'm actually thinking about sharing these templates with strangers on the internet, I should probably know what I'm doing. So I want to make sure that I'm building things the right way, the Notion way, the recommended way, the lesson way, the learned way. Not just hope and a prayer and then accidentally fumbling my way into something that worked and I don't know really if I figured that out or it was dumb luck. That's why I'm going to go through all of Notion's lessons. I want to rebuild this knowing that I'm doing it the right way, not just vibes-based database architecture. And there may have been things that I missed that could be super helpful and we can do this together. Okay, so this is going to sound dramatic, but me learning Notion is actually more about me wanting to escape the corporate girly life. Yeah. I've spent years project managing other people's stuff, their goals, their crises, their roadmaps, all of it. And honestly, I'm kind of over it. So before I can make any decisions about my future, I'm taking those PM skills, the Gantt charts, the multi-work stream thinking, the obsessive organization, and I'm turning it on myself. My health, my home, my projects, my escape plan, all of it. And here's the thing, I'm an elder millennial, which means I have the delusion for a side quest, but not for a side hustle. So this whole Notion thing, it's a quest. If it works, great. If it doesn't, that's okay too. We're not making commitments here. No pressure, just exploring. Because I realized adulting is basically just a bunch of overlapping projects that nobody really gave us instructions for. And if I can PM the shit out of somebody else's chaos, why am I not doing that for myself? And I imagine there are a lot more of you out there, whether you're a millennial or somewhere in that midlife space of dealing with career burnout, hormonal roller coasters, or just the fact that we live in such unprecedented times. I'm thinking we can make adulting a little less chaotic, or at least find ways to give ourselves a little dopamine hit for at least trying. So that's what this is. I'm calling this my Notion Girlie Side Quest. We're gonna learn Notion, we're gonna build some systems, and we're gonna share the whole process. Low stakes, high curiosity. If that sounds interesting, let's figure this out together.